In different states across Nigeria schedule local government elections, especially following the Supreme Court judgment, which gave autonomy to local government in Nigeria. Joining me now for more on this conversation is Sylvester Ezeokenwa, National Chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. Good to have you join us on TVC News at 1. So following the Supreme Court judgment, of course, we've seen different states schedule council polls. What's your take about the level of compliance from these states?
Well, for me, like you said earlier on, I think precisely on the 18th day of July 2024, the Supreme Court handed a landmark judgment where it, among other things, established the constitutional autonomy of local government areas from what the Supreme Court perceived to be the stranglehold of state government across the country. And that judgment, like I said, is landmark for some reasons. First of all, there were some issues that the Supreme Court tried to trash out, which included the issue of proper funding and who funds meant to be for local government should go to. Whether local governments across the country can be administered in any manner other than through a democratically elected governance structure as prescribed under Section 7 of the Constitution. So these and many more were part of the issues, including the legality or validity of state governments that when they come in, or governors that when they come into office, they dissolve democratically elected government in place in a local government, and then in their place put a transition committee. But like I said, our democracy is an evolving one. And so the judgment of the Supreme Court has, of course, established what should be in line with the provisions of the Constitution. We have lauded the judgment in the past, and then the judgment, of course, throws up a more germane issue. Across the country, there are some states that do not have democratically elected governance structure in place. And if you look at the judgment...
Mr. Zokan, when you say there are states that don't have democratically elected governors, what do you mean?
Governors, I said democratically elected local government structure.
Oh, all right then.
Not governors.
Okay.
I said democratically elected local government structure. And in the lead judgment of Honorable Justice Emmanuel again, if you look at the relief number 14, which was granted by the court said that the above judgment of the court must be complied with immediately. You know, some persons have said, oh, the Supreme Court gave a 3-month structure. No, the Supreme Court ordered immediate compliance. And with the ordering of immediate compliance, then it means that state government that do not have any democratically elected governance structure in place have no other option than to immediately set up machinery in motion to ensure that they have a democratically elected local government structure in place.
I hear you, Mr. Ezeokenwa, and this exactly is one issue that is rising up in Rivers State, for instance, where you have the State Assembly calling for suspension of the local government election, which is scheduled for this Saturday. And one of the reasons they are citing is that the state governments, the state electoral umpire, did not give that 3-month notice. So how do we forge ahead?
First of all, it is wrong. As far as I'm concerned, there is no such constitutional requirement or statutory requirement for 3 months notice of an election. What I know, because I don't know if you have been opportune to read the judgment of Honorable Justice Lifu of the Federal High Court on the issue of local government election and the proper procedural steps that ought to be taken. In that judgment, what Justice Lifu said was that if you read the provisions of Section 9, subsection 6 of the Electoral Act, you will see clearly where the provision was made, that there must be updating of the voters' register, and it must not stop anything later than 90 days before the election. So the issue of notice, if you look at notice in the Electoral Act, you see notice is contained in Section 28 of the Electoral Act, and the notice there is even 360 days. It didn't say 90 days. The notice in the Electoral Act is 360 days. But I'm going to draw a distinction for you so that you understand these things properly.
You have just about 30 seconds to do that, Mr. Ezeokenwa.
Yes. The Electoral Act is not the governing law for local government elections. If you read the long title of the Electoral Act, you will see that it says it's an act, first of all, to repeal the old Electoral Act and to put up a machinery and procedure for conducting federal, state, and area council elections. That is, area council elections are elections to local government in the FCT. So the proper law that should provide for notice of election are laws made by the House of Assembly in respect of each state. So in Rivers, it may be the local government law, it may be the electoral law. Because if you look at paragraph 12 of the second schedule to the Constitution, you will see where the House of Assembly is imbued with powers to make laws regulating local government election, provided those laws are not in conflict with a law made by the National Assembly. And the National Assembly has not come out to claim that it has made any law to regulate local government elections other than the provisions of Section 150 of the Electoral Act, where the state independent electoral commissions were actually advised or compelled to make sure that they follow procedure that is in place by INEC for conduct of FCT elections.
All right then,
so
Mr.
Notice of elections must be as provided by the state laws, not by the Electoral Act.
All right then, thank you very much for talking to us about this very crucial matter. National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Sylvester Eziokenwa. Thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 1.
Thank you very much.
Let's turn our attention now to Niger State, where additional 8 bodies have been recovered after a boat carrying more than 300 passengers, mainly women and children, capsized on Tuesday night. And it's now brought the total number of deaths to 24. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency earlier released a video of the boat that capsized on the 1st of October. Although TVC News cannot independently verify this video, the video shows a large number of people on the boat without life jackets. 150 persons were rescued and 18 dead bodies recovered on Wednesday, while search and rescue operations are still ongoing. We'll now take a break from our regular programming to bring you a live broadcast of the inauguration of Fashion and Garment Hub near the Enugu Airport and the opening of the 5th National MSME Clinics at the Old Governor's Lodge in Enugu. Our news and other programs continue on our other channels and our digital platforms.
Well, it's a pride to have it. Lloyd Ekweremadu will never have it. And that's why we are more than he is in any form.
Police in Zamfara State have arrested 6 foreigners and 10 Nigerians involved in illegal mining in the state. The 6 foreigners are from Burkina Faso and the Niger Republic. Theophilus Darufai reports.
In July 2019, the federal government banned all mining activities in Zamfara State and its environs. That decision was part of measures to restore peace to the state bedeviled by banditry. Also recently, Zamfara State Governor Dodo Lawal signed an executive order banning all forms of mining activities in the state. The order, according to him, will be enforced until necessary arrangements are made between the federal and state governments on how to benefit from mining activities. In its efforts to ensure enforcement of the order, police in the state has arrested 6 foreigners and 10 locals involved in illegal mining. They were arrested at an illegal mining site of a notorious bandit kingpin Halilu Bozu, who was recently killed by security operatives in Zamfara.
They are non-indigens. They traveled from Burkina Faso. They came to Nigeria purposely to do illegal mining. We have also arrested some people from Niger Republic.
Motorcycles, an excavator and other items were recovered from the suspects.
All these bags you are seeing are bags of chemicals. The implements they use are here. These are the chemicals they use in washing their gold. And sometimes, you know, these chemicals lead to poisoning. These mining sites were closed by federal government due to lead poisoning.
The police vowed to clear all illegal mining sites in the state to pave way for peace. Theophilus Darufai, TVC News Gusau.
United States Agency for International Development says more than 60,000 out-of-school children in the Northeast have been enrolled back into the classroom. The agency, through the International Rescue Committee and other partners, senior reporter Wulabi Adenisi filed in the story.
Speaking at the flag off, The OTL chief of party, Ayo Oladimeji, says 4,000 out-of-school children absorbed in 2021 took their basic education certificate examination for the first time in the country. This is one of the OTL learning centers in Adamawa State visited by the USAID team led by Ayo Oladimeji. Some of the students, teachers, and caregivers share their experiences with TVC News.
What we are seeing, OTL may likely add a center to us because many people are coming.
If you see the way these children or the smiles on their face.
We apologize for the abrupt end of that report. Now, more than 27,000 flood victims in Shanga local government area of Kebbi State have received food aid from the state government. The governor said he emphasized the initiative is aimed at alleviating the suffering of those affected by the disaster. Hawa Mohammed reports.
While delivering a goodwill message to the villagers ravaged by the flooding, Governor Nasser Idris encouraged them to accept it as an act of God, adding that his administration will do everything within its power to support them during this difficult time and make necessary provision.
When we get the report, we have directed the local government council chairman to find a way of settling these people and provide shelter for them. We have visited this town.
The Emir of Yauri, Dr. Zayanu Abdullahi, thanked Governor Nasser Idris, highlighting the governor's consistent support for the people of Yauri Emirates.
I am happy that Governor Nasser Idris always provides us with aid whenever he finds out we have an issue in Yauri. I appreciate you for your unrelentless commitment for the people of Kebbi State.
In his remark, the chairman of Shanga local government, Abdullahi Meongwa, praised the governor's leadership, especially the way his administration has impacted life positively. The chairman of the State Emergency Management Agency, Bello Yakubu, also applauded the governor's commitment to the welfare of the less privileged. The food aid include bag of maize, millets, and rice. Hawa Muhammad, TVC News, Kebbi.